The first important thing, what is problem in practice? Practice is very simple. This is the art of concentration on self with the true idea, true thought and true concept. That head to toes, whatever we feel is all in all. All in all means everything we will find within. All external engineering department, medical sciences and many other philosophies, lifestyle, whatever we read in the book, all came out from this head to toes. Then what is the problem? Why we are not able to place our attention on head to toes? It is because of one thing. Mind is always with the habit. Internal, blind mind is king. And nature of blind mind is always with the habit. Blind mind is habitual to focus outward with the help of eyes, always busy in seeing outward, with the help of ears, always attracted outward sounds, with the help of tongue, always practicing to taste external objects. We listen in the meditation that we have divine nectar dripping in the mouth, in the throat area. That divine nectar is very important. That brings immortality and stops aging process. What is that divine nectar? When the Kriya Yoga practice, blind mind is cured. Now there is no blindness. Then we start experiencing taste of saliva itself very tasty. We enjoy taste outside fruits, grains, seeds, many vegetables. But we cannot imagine that our saliva is so tasty. When the tongue touches internal area of the mouth, inner lining, soft palate, hard palate, tongue and around, you will find a unique taste. That taste you can give name divine nectar. But at present, blind mind is habitual to experience taste of outward object. In the realized state, the moment you touch the finger on the tongue, you will find so nice, tasty, but we will not eat it. Tasty does not mean I am going to eat my finger. This taste is different in that eating is not involved. Otherwise you get reasoning power false. If lips will be very tasty in the night, I will eat my lips. Fingers are tasty, I will eat fingers. It is not going to happen. The taste we perceive internally is something different. It doesn't allow mastication and chewing. It is just we experience like cold. We experience cold waves, hot waves we experience. Blind mind is always a habitual outward. If blind mind is king, then you have to work sufficiently with your legs, otherwise legs will get arthritis. Legs and arms, they are only helping blind mind. In our astral, when mind is awakened, when intuition is there, intuition and awakened mind does not need legs. They walk without legs, they work without arm, they see without eyes. If blind mind is king, it is very important to have nice activity of both legs and both arms. Whole body should be very active. Therefore, when we practice standing, recharging 1 to 42 steps, that is very important. In this work, we never create any problem to any plant or any insects, any termites or ants. We are just standing on one place We cleaned it. There is no injury created to any animals, micro animals. We just stand and concentrate on head to toes, feel it more and more. This is the best physical attunement. When we do gardening, that is also great work because we need grains and seeds and fruits and vegetable like fruits. Therefore, we need gardening. But in the process of gardening, many other things are done. Many earthworms are cut into pieces. Many other small animals who are living inside clay, they get damaged. But this is all will happen. You cannot stop it. But recharging what we do is supreme. It does not create any problem to animal of any kind, to plant of any kind. If you practice sincerely recharging with all devotion, you will feel thrilling joy. You will have such great peace you cannot imagine. When we are practicing concentration on self or doing recharging, mind does not like. When you play basketball, football, or any other game, cricket, mind likes it because mind always believes in running, in outward activity. Because of this reason, we find practice difficult. Then how to practice? How to teach our mind slowly, like children from kindergarten we are teaching A for apple, B for boy, C for cat, D for dog. In one day they don't learn it. We do repeatedly. Then we bring animal. Then we show the photograph. Then slowly they get it. Easily they can't get it. Therefore you have to teach your mind repeatedly. How to teach mind? By repeated practice, then mind starts concentrating on self. Then slowly we will realize that now mind's blindness is removing. Because of this reason, if try your level best, but mind does not cooperate, then what is the solution for it? Just repeated practice. Practice again and again, again and again, again and again. Keep on practicing it again and again. Then you will find one day mind will like it. Let us have this example. If you are not smoking, somebody gave you to smoke, mind will not like. Then what happens? Mind will not like, the body rejects, we get cough and sneezing. But tune mind every day. Request every day smoking. Today 1/3 cigar, then after a week a half, after a month one full. Okay, all right. Then mind likes it. If you don't get cigarette, then we feel stress, tension. In the same way, tobacco is very bitter. Give person to eat, mind will reject. But little bit every day, then without tobacco, mind feels empty. Therefore, remember, mind always lives with the habit. Try to create a habit of practice more and more. How to create a habit of practice? When you open immediately in the morning, think of Kriya Yoga meditation. Take the book. Autobiography of Yogi. Because this is the alive scripture. All things are written here is alive story. It is not imaginary creation. Immediately this book should be on your bed, on your side. Immediately open any page. Read one paragraph and feel head to toes. Translates each and every part. This book came out from inside of head to toes. Therefore, you can see this autobiography of Yogi Kathamrit, million times than this is already stored within head to toes. Imagine that if Yogananda is there, he will write it again in better way. He will edit it. Therefore, remember, whatever we are reading, autobiography of Yogi or Bible or Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Maharshi Patanjali textbook, whatever, head to toes is having million times more scripture. Then after reading it, you should have this thought, within head to toes, there exists million times more than this. Because this is the teaching of Kriya Yoga. Head to toes is ocean of knowledge, ocean of power. It is presence of eternal peace. It is presence of bliss. This is a very important point. You have to teach mind like kindergarten child. Never say that I am just deciding today, I will not do it. It will not work. We have to teach mind repeatedly, that's all. This is a very important point. As blind-minded habit is to create fear. By creating fear, blind mind realizes work can be done easily. But we cannot do work properly in fear atmosphere. Therefore, blind mind needs teaching. If you have to do something, slowly, you start doing that thing repeatedly, then one day blind mind will follow it. Blind mind will accept it. This is the important point. The best thing, practice every day, that blind mind should be habitual of practice. Blind mind should not live without practice. If by repeated effort we are able to create this atmosphere, habitual practice of Kriya Yoga meditation, then blind mind always will support whatever we will do. Therefore, it needs repeated practice. In the beginning, we should do many times in 24 hours. 10 minutes, 5 minutes every hour. Have awareness all the time that the philosophy of Kriya Yoga should be active and alive within all the time. We should not forget it. Then you will find everything will be very easy. Practice is very simple. You have to bring attention from outward on head to toes. You can convince mind head to toes, it is very important. Without this, we cannot have any external affairs. Therefore, let us join head to toes. Request mind to feel each and every part of head to toes. Still mind is going away, but some percentage of concentration of mind should be on head to toes. Slowly it will increase. A time will come, you will have perfect focus on head to toes, and you will ignore outward activities. That is not enough. This is just started. Now we are on the platform of Kriya Yoga meditation. When you feel head to toes, you will find many changes within head to toes. Then mind is engaged in that. Mind nature is to say good and bad. Then we will say changes, pain or pleasure, comfort or discomfort. Oh, this is allergy. Oh, that is allergy. Oh, this is not good. What is happening this? Why it is red? Why it is black? Always mind is engaged on head to toes and not liking many things. But teach mind every day, sincerely. Each and every organ is purest of pure. Each and every organ is condensed power, knowledge, peace, joy, and within we will find all things. We want to see Mahatar Babaji. You will find within our own self. Try to look outward, we cannot see. Within our breath, within head to toes, within our changes, you will find Yogeshwar Krishna. You will find Bhagavan Ram, Mahatar Baba, Lahiri Mahashaya, anyone, Jesus Christ, anyone, Moses, anyone. Then mind will start accepting all changes, because changes are very important. Within each change there exist all things. Then mind will start accepting it. Then after that, this is not sufficient. Then every day mind will feel new set of changes. Each and every moment a new varieties of changes. Then mind is working devotedly. But this is not end. Keep on practicing, then mind will realize head to toes is like a sky having no weight. Head to toes is like air. It is like moving. Fingers are moving like air. Whole body is moving. Then head to toes is like light waves, radiations. Head to toes is compact sound waves. Head to toes is like liquid structure. As you can imagine, body of water. Arms are made up of water. This is not end. This is just you will feel it. The moment we start feeling it, then mind is having great fear. Something is bad happening. I may die, because mind realization that death exists. Birth and death perception is perception of blind mind and wisdom, reasoning power. Both perceives life and death. There is a great power of death. Therefore, whenever we feel new set of changes which you cannot imagine, then we develop fear. Okay, all right, do not worry. Hold the philosophy and principle. Each and every change, whatever we feel, is purest of pure, is power, knowledge, peace, joy. Keep on practicing it. Then one day we will realize, yes, it is true. Head to toes is knowledge, is power, is peace, is joy. Then practice goes deeper without any hindrance. Then we will realize, now we do not need breath. When I was breathing, the life was limited. Now I do not breathe, life expanded. Before we were realizing that we need blood for survival. Now we realize we do not need blood. Heartbeat stops, blood flow stops. Then we feel life expanded. This we realize, then body appears like a dead body, very cool like a dead body, everything. But this is not end. Keep on practicing, keep on practicing. Then you will realize same thing. When we realize life is expanded when there is no breath, then you will feel same thing when there is a breathing also. Life is expanded when there is no heartbeat. Then one day you will realize in the process of beating of heart also, you will feel life expanded. And that is not the end. Keep on practicing it. Then we will know science of creation, how to create bone, muscles, how to create body. This is not end. Then you will know how to make a change. Then you will learn how to create animals, to plant, and how to create a universe. The moment we learn how to create universe and how to disperse it, then we realize there exists only one God alone. Then I no more. Then me and you no more. Only God exists. That is the supreme knowledge we get. Therefore, this is a continuous journey from ignorance to ultimate truth. Therefore, what is the result of this discussion? Practice every day, create a habit of practice. Never go to the bed in the night before practice. Then in the dream and deep sleep, we will evolve faster. When we are awake in the morning, start with the practice. Keep this autobiography of Yogi at the bed. I can say keep Bible or Srimad Bhagavad Gita, but we don't understand them. When you read Bhagavad Gita slok, we don't understand. Read Bible, we don't understand. Therefore, I request, just keep Autobiography of Yogi on your bed. Moment you are awake, immediately this will come, and start reading few lines. Then realize within head to toes there is a million times more compact knowledge which is stored here in this book. Then have more devoted concentration on head to toes, tense legs, right leg, right arm, each and every part of head to toes. Then when you are now get up, start practicing when you are walking, and have regular your activities, brushing the teeth and taking the bath, whatever you are doing, all the time feel head to toes. After that, have sincere recharging practice. Then up to the initiation. This is how to start.